Welcome to America Needs Fatima. In this episode, we will talk about the most important part of the Fatima message. Hello, my name is Antonio, and today we will talk about the apparitions of Our Lady of Fatima herself in 1917. Now, I do need to point out that this is only a summary, a very short summary of the 6 apparitions that took place in 1917. These apparitions have a lot of substance, and we will, in later videos, break it down and comment on the very important message of Our Lady. So the first apparition takes place on May 13th. The children were playing at a place called 𝗕𝗲𝗿𝘆 when they saw 2 lightnings. Now, the strange thing was that it was a sunny day, so it didn't make sense to have lightnings. That caught their attention, and shortly afterwards, they saw Our Lady appear over a holm oak tree, which is a small tree. I'll just give you briefly here part of Sister Lucia's description of Our Lady, okay? Lucia says, "A lady dressed in white, more brilliant than the sun. Her face, indescribably beautiful, was neither sad nor happy, but serious, with an air of mild reproach. Her hands, joined together as if she were praying, were resting on her breast and pointing upward. A rosary hung from her right hand." So, a lady more brilliant than the sun. Obviously, Our Lady was extremely beautiful, and the children, of course, were totally taken by her. But also the whole, supernatural, atmosphere that, surrounded these apparitions. So, this first apparition was relatively short. Our Lady asked them to come back to the same place during the 6 consecutive, following months. The apparitions went from May to October, and they took place on the 13th, with the exception of August, and we will explain what happened in August. In this apparition, pretty much it was short. Sister Lucia did ask Our Lady about 2 of her friends that had died, were deceased, and she was interested to know if they were in heaven. Our Lady confirmed that one of them was in heaven and that the other one would be in purgatory until the end of times. Then Our Lady concluded her first message with these words: "Do you wish to offer yourselves to God to endure all the sufferings that He may be pleased to send you, as both an act of reparation for the sins with which He is so much offended, as well as act of supplication for the conversion of sinners?" And this is the theme that we will see across the entire, apparitions, beginning with the angels, but especially with the apparitions and message from Our Lady of Fatima. Shortly afterwards, Our Lady disappears. The second apparition takes place on June 13th. Again, it was a short apparition. Our Lady again insisted that they will that they should, come back the next month. This is the apparition where Lucia asks Our Lady if she could take him to heaven. Our Lady then explains to Lucia that she will take Jacinta and Francisco to heaven very soon, but that she, Lucia, would have to stay here on earth for many years. The third apparition takes place on July 13th, and this is the most important apparition where Our Lady delivers her, the first 2 parts of the secret of Fatima. The first part of the secret is considered, it's what's called the vision of hell. It's a very impressive thing because the children were young. Jacinta was 7 years old, and still Our Lady, the Mother of Mercies, chose and showed them a horrific vision of hell. Later, we will get into the description of this vision by Sister Lucy, and it's really horrific. One of the most impressive things is the great amount of people, of souls falling into hell. After that, Our Lady says, I'll just read a little bit. She says, "You have seen hell where the souls of poor sinners go." Again, the theme of poor sinners. "To save them, God wishes to establish in the world devotion to my Immaculate Heart." So this is the solution to people going to hell, devotion to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. "If what I say to you is done, many souls will be saved and there will be peace." Our Lady then goes on to, she foretells, she talks about the end of World War I, because this operation takes place in 1917. As we know, World War I came to an end in November of the following year. But Our Lady says that if the world did not convert, that another worse war would come, as indeed it came. Our Lady actually mentions how she tells Lucia and the children that God was going to send a sign that he was about to punish the world. She uses the word punish. These are words that our world does not like too much, like hell, purgatory, and punish. But this is reality. When mankind chooses the path of sin, this is what happens. So let's move on here. In August 13, something different happened. What was happening was that the word, of course, got around, and each successive apparition brought more people to the site. So there was a nearby city by the name of Vila Nova de Ourém, and the mayor of this city played a trick on the children. He showed up on August 13th at the children's home and offered to take them in his car to the place of the apparitions. Of course, a car was a great novelty of the time, so the children accepted, but instead he took them to his mayoral home and locked them up. And what the mayor wanted, he tried by all means to get the secret out of them. He even threatened the children to throw them into a big pot of boiling oil. But the children did not give in. They actually they chose death. But of course, nothing happened. And later he released them. I'm not sure if he released them that same day, later in that day or the following day. But the fact is that Our Lady came and the children were not there. Now, how did we know that Our Lady came? Is that Our Lady did give signs to the people that were there waiting. She did not allow herself to be seen, but people would notice, for example, a small cloud approach and kind of land on top of the holm oak tree. So they knew that Our Lady had come, and then the cloud left. So that was that. So what happened was on August 19th, the children were again playing at a different place by the name of Valinhos. And when Our Lady appeared to them, and this is when she told them that in October she was going to perform a great miracle so people would believe her message. All right, so that's August. In September, she, of course, came again on September 13th. That's the 5th apparition. Our Lady again insisted and asked the children to pray the rosary. In every single apparition, there is a reference to the rosary. The rosary becomes center to the Fatima message and the solution for our times. And finally, in October, Our Lady came, and this is where she performed the miracle of the sun. So at a certain point during the apparition, and now, as I have mentioned, people, each successive apparition, more people were coming. By the time, we get to October, 70,000 people were present. And I want to ask Josh to project a few images of the crowd. Photos from the time, they're black and white, but just for you to see the impressive multitude that was present at the location of the apparitions. So at a certain point, Lucia points out to the sky, to the sun, and shouts, "Look at the sun." It was overcast, and the clouds then opened up, letting and the sun, letting the sun shine through them. And then the sun started to act in a very bizarre way, started to spin, started making, kind of crazy zigzag movements. And then at a certain point kind of precipitated itself over the crowd. And it was actually terrifying. This lasted for a few minutes, but it felt like a lot longer. And it was so terrifying that a lot of people thought it was the end of the world was at hand. So after a few minutes, the sun went back to its place and everything was calm again. One of the miracles, many miracles happened throughout the Fatima operations, and one of them was that it had been raining a lot. So all these people were soaked to their bones. And by the end of the miracle of the sun, people noticed that they were completely dry. Their clothes was completely dry. And so this was one of the miracles. So this concluded the operations. There were other things that happened. There were several different operations that happened, in this sixth operation, which again, we will go into in more detail later on. So this is what happened in Fatima from May to October. Our Lady appeared 6 times, and this is where she delivered the most important part of her message. Now, in our next episode, we will deal with some other operations, private operations that took place with Sister Lucia. So, as we mentioned, Jacinta and Francisco, died shortly afterwards, as Our Lady foretold. But Lucia stayed on this earth for many, many years. And she received some private operations with some very important messages for you and I, for all of us, which we will go over in our next episode. Now, in case you have not subscribed to our channel, I do encourage you to do so you can be notified when chapter 4 is launched. And to do that, the most you can subscribe, click the subscribe button, but also especially click the little bell, which will help you get notifications. But also, I left you a link below, and I want to ask you to seriously consider signing up and becoming a Rosary Rally captain. Now, in case you don't know what that is, American Needs Fatima runs, for the past 15 years, we have been running a national campaign that we call the Public Square Rosary Crusade. And these are small groups of people who say the rosary publicly. This usually takes place in the Saturday in October, on the Saturday closest to the 13th, which is the anniversary of the miracle of the sun. This is, I don't have to explain to you, why we do this. We, look all around. There's a lot of terrible things happening. America is in great need of prayer and conversion. And this is the purpose and the reason why American Needs Fatima promotes, and the reason why I'm asking you right now to sign up and join our 2022 Rosary Rally Crusade next October. Thank you so much for listening. And I hope to see you here next time. Until then, may God bless you.